What's going on, Malakas? Being NCZ3 here, and welcome back to a new Magic Arena video. And what we're going to be doing is going over 3 pro tips that'll drastically increase your gaming experience. And I want to apologize before we get into anything if the video seems a little choppy, Scoobs. I am reading from a script so that this doesn't seem super like, you know, left field, right field, yada yada yada. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video, shall we? We're going to start off with the absolute basic of fundamentals in any form of Magic, whether it's modern, legacy, standard, you just play with your friends, EDH, cube, or whatever the case may be is, you absolutely need to build your land base up. You get an infinite amount of basic lands in Magic Arena, but you don't necessarily get an infinite amount of like all the other types of lands. I highly recommend picking a deck that you really want to play and start building the land base to that deck first, because some decks like Eric Froehlich's Bant Turbo Fog deck simply couldn't work without the land base. And you know, look, it's got 4, 6, 10, 14, 17, like we're looking at least 17 wild rare cards just to build this list. That's not talking about the uncommon for Field of Ruin or any of the other cards in the deck itself. But for you players out there that are newer, free to play, budget, and you know, just in general, players who just don't have a ton of rare wild cards or just don't spend a lot of money, Red Deck Wins is actually a really good deck for you. It truly is, because, well, it's just 23 Mountains, that's all it is. And the game itself gives you the Bolmot Couriers, it gives you the Soulscar Mages, the Carry Zevs. It pretty much gives you a good chunk of this actual list. So, you know, you're not like frantically trying to gather all of these rare wild cards to build some exotic deck. And Red Deck Wins actually puts up a lot of really good numbers, it really does. And for those players that have been playing the game for a while, or the people that spend a little extra money, or maybe even you, Scoobs, maybe you just want to start off with a 2-color or a 3-color deck, whatever the case may be, simply put, your land base can literally make or break your gaming experience. It is a key essential ingredient to building any successful deck, because there's nothing like, you know, playing a land and saying pass, now it's your turn, play a land, pass, and you know, 10 turns down the line, finally you draw one of your lands that you actually need, but you've been dead for the last, like, I don't know, like 5 turns because your opponent emptied out their hand. And it's just, I don't know, Scoobs, look, it is a key ingredient to building a successful deck. Lands, lands, lands. The next tip is learning your format. I am not talking about the events in the game, Scoobs, like the quick singleton challenge, free play, any of that stuff. That has nothing to do with the actual format. Magic Arena is standard and soon to be limited, from what I remember reading the devs saying. Don't quote me on this one, please. But yeah, so look, this website's called whatisstandard.com. I will leave it in the description below. There's a lot of just really solid information on here. It tells you what cards are standard legal, which cards are not, like your ban list. It also tells you, and this is the really important part, okay, Scoobs? If you don't take anything else from this video, please pay attention to this, okay? Dropping in a month on 2018, October 5th, Kaladesh, Aether Revolt, Amonkhet, Welcome 2017, and Hour of Devastation are all rotating out of Standard. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Standard is an ever-rotating format. That is the reason why I love it. I do not like Modern or Legacy, because there's almost never any change in any of those. Like, literally, Scoobs, you could play, like, you could buy a Modern deck now and have it for, like, 5 or 6 years down the line, and, like, maybe one card in the entire deck will change. But they're also very expensive, but that's nor here nor there, okay? Also, what you need to know is what sets are staying in, right? This is dropping in 2019, so these sets are staying in, right? You've got Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan, Dominaria, Core 2019, which is, you know, just literally came out. And then the ones that are coming in are Guilds of Ravnica, right? Literally the same exact day as these ones are rotating out. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets are rotating out. 1 set is coming in, then 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets, so on and so forth. And then whenever the block gets full, it will rotate an entire block extension out, just like you see up here, Scoobs. Also, I talked about building your land base just a second ago. Please do me and do you, I don't think that came out right. Anyways, do yourself a favor, Scoobs. Do not, unless you play this game religiously, like I do sometimes, unless you play religiously, do not build cards from these sets, okay? Why? Because if you try to play any kind of like event, unless it says limited, from what I have gathered, Magic Arena is staying standard, but they will have limited-esque type of events or / free play or whatever the case is, where you can use all of these other cards. And there are quite a few dual lands plus other good lands that are in like Hour of Devastation, Amonkhet, Kaladesh, you know? That's all I'm trying to say, Scoobs, is when you're building your land base up, all of that good stuff, pay attention to the set symbol. Always, always, always. Because like I said, if you want to stay up to date in Magic Arena, you have to have the correct sets. That's all I'm going to say, Scoobs. And like I said, I really enjoy Standard because it is an ever-changing thing. Like, how boring would it be if there was only ever like 3 decks that ruled the entire meta? Like in Legacy, it's Delver. It's like the 5 hottest rappers. Dylon. It's Delver. Like literally Delver everywhere. Modern, it's like Humans or Delver or Storm. I mean, Modern's a little bit more open. But anyways, I'm not going to diverge from that. And although this may not be a pro tip, Scoobs, I wish I knew about this website when I first started playing, and that's mythicspoiler.com. It'll be in the description below. This is a super cool website. It's actually one of the very first websites that usually give you good, credible information on spoiling upcoming cards. Now, why is that valuable to you, Scoobs? Well, first and foremost, it has an index of all of the cards, which I'll get to in just a bit, okay? Second, because Standard is rotating out, or basically it's ever rotating, you can come to websites like this to kind of get like an edge on the scene, because I don't know about you, Scoobs, but like when rotation happens, I want to know what's going to be in Guilds of Ravnica before I decide to build a deck towards it, because maybe, who knows, maybe oozes are going to be the new thing, or whatever the case is, and you know, you can kind of look through here and say, oh, that's a good card, or oh, that's a good card too, let me build that card, you know, whatever the case may be. Also, I talked about an index, right? Let's go to the shield up here. It scrolls down, boom, it says more. It 100% says more, I know this. Select it, and it's got an index, and it'll show you every single card ever printed. Like, if I go to beta, except for like cards like alpha, right? But if I go to beta, select the symbol, boom, see this? It gets every single one of the cards, which is super cool, super cool. But let's say I wanted like a different set, like Rails of Ixalan, right? You know, if you're ever wondering what cards are in what, and you're tired of going through the, you know, the user interface on cards that say like not collected, but you want the red cards, you know, sometimes you'll pop up like a grayed out card like this, or whatever the case may be is. Like, you know, let's see here, Crash Through. I don't have any copies of Crash Through from Hour of Devastation, right? But if I go to this website, it'll give me a readout on all of the cards, right? So you can kind of look through these cards and, you know, build that deck that you want to build. Like, you know, let me see here. There's a spicy little card here that I was looking at the other day. Haha! This person right here. Talana Summoner. Read the card. It's absolutely amazing, Scoobs. It really is. Go back to Rails of Ixalan. You know, sometimes you'll see really wonky cards, and this is what I'm going to talk about right here, right? Wonky cards like Vraska Scorn. You will never pick one of these out of your pack because you simply cannot. These come in pre-constructed decks, right? 100%. Now, as this says, target opponent loses 4 life. You may search your library and or graveyard for a card named Vraska Scheming Gorgon, which is this Vraska. But if you look in the game and you look for Vraska, you're going to pop up with the green-black one that's up here somewhere, right? Let me see if I can find her really quick, because she's like a, you know, tricky little fellow, little trickster. I know I'm looking really bad, Scoobs, but stay with me, all right? Let me see if I can find her. Anyways, you know what? Look, whatever. Your mother was a goat, all right? Website's super cool. I stand by my words. Like I said, Scoobs, I wish I knew about a website like this before I started like venturing and buying random cards or whatever the case may be, or putting like if I didn't know about this website, right? And I was playing Magic Arena, I would be flying kind of blind for the new set that's going to be coming out, which is Guilds of Ravnica. This next part's going to be mostly read from a script, so I do apologize if I'm not really looking at you and I'm reading something or whatever the case is. I just don't want to booger this next part up, Scoob, so I apologize if I sound like a robot. But anyways, here we go, right? The last pro tip I want you to take seriously is that there's no problem at all with net decking, okay? There really isn't. Please do not let somebody bully you or let your pride get in the way of believing that it is a bad thing, because it truly isn't. Pros like Reed Duke, you should Google who Reed Duke is if you don't know him. One of the best Magic players that ever touched a card in his entire life. That's all I'm going to say. All hail Reed Duke. Look, he net decks himself, and he plays those decks and refines those decks to perfection over countless hours. We're talking hundreds or thousands of hours of actual gameplay, and this serves two purposes. One, it gets you into the I can win mode, because players who hardly ever win or believe they will always lose tend to not stick around all that much in the Magic community, and or have just a very bad gaming experience regardless of what version of Magic you play, whether it's Magic Arena or whatever the case is. It would be a shame to let your pride or someone else's belief get you into that kind of way of thinking that you just simply can't win, or whatever the case is, because simply put, Scoobs, you probably will not stay around all of that long, okay? If you have a really bad gaming experience, I don't know anybody that plays this game for long periods of time. If they just play 5 matches, they say, well, this sucks, I can't even play the game, yada, yada, yada. Maybe I'll try it for a month, okay? Because a lot of players like myself, we try games out for like a month, and we'll see if we like it, okay? But, look, if you're anti-net deck and your friends are bullying you and you simply can't win, I just don't think you're going to stay around all that much. There's nothing wrong with going to let's go Ukraine Nationals right here, 2018. Well, let me see here. I like this Rakdos aggro deck because I won first place, right? Out of 116 players, this was first place. Let me look at this deck, and, I like On-Crop Crasher, but maybe I don't want to play with that. Maybe I like this other card more, right? So put that card in there instead. There's nothing wrong with changing a few cards out here or there just to experiment, but a lot of the times players play these net decks because they're true and proven, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Don't get me wrong, after you get the hang of winning games and learning how to make better moves, or learning more of the basics to deck building by seeing what's actually working and what actually isn't, look, 100% go experiment. Go to like this Rakdos aggro deck and be like, well, I just don't like unlicensed disintegration. It's not very good right now. What I'm playing up against, a lot of players are playing, like, let's say, Planeswalkers. This needs to absolutely be a Never, or Vraska's Contempt, or Doomfall, or just something like that, right? Whatever the case may be is, you'll have that experience and that knowledge after seeing what's working, what's not. Why does your deck work? Why does this net deck actually win? Why is it so good? Why do you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copies in the top 8? Why is it so good? Why not go through the list and actually find out what are the differences between each of these, right? Is there any differences? Are there any differences? Whatever the case may be, Scoobs, look, all I'm going to say here, Scoobs, is just don't be that guy that says, I'm not going to net deck because I am just simply too good for it, or whatever the case may be is. Like, for instance, Scoobs, I'm playing Turbo Fog by Eric Froelich. I changed out a few cards, and I've just been absolutely having a blast with it. It's better matchups for a lot of players, and I've gone 4-0 in a competitive constructed scene. Like, literally, Scoobs, look, competitive constructed right there. Like, boom, 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 right? All I'm going to say, Scoobs, and I've said that a couple times now, is that, just don't be that guy. The reason why these decks are true and pride and proven and all that good stuff is because they work, okay? There's no reason that you as a player, if you're trying to evolve, get better at the game, that you should completely throw away countless hours that have been put into refining a deck. That's all I'm going to say, Scoobs, about that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get in this pack opening and, bid you adieu here. Mwah, you know what I'm saying, Scoobs? We love you, right? We love you. I do. I do. Mwah. Right? Here's 2 kisses for you, right? Give me the Lich. I want the Lich. Ooh, we get a rare wild card. Give me the Lich. Cape Shift? Gotta have a kick in the nuts. More like it. But anyway, Scoobs. Y'all know what I'm talking about, though, right? Love, peace, and chicken grease. Be safe. Thanks for stopping by to spend some of your quality and yeah, stay classy. Oh, And if you're looking for this actual deck list, I'm not going to have a typed up version for you because I have all of the script I'm going to put in the description, but I will have a deck link for you, okay? And no, it's not playing Karn's Temporal Sundering. In fact, let me give you a really quick rundown of what the deck looks like, right? Boom. I took out a Karn's Temporal Sundering for an Oath of Teferi. It is doing amazing. I've got 2 Fumigates in here. I forget what I took out. But yeah, just check the description, okay, Scoobs? It'll be there. Love you, and yeah, stay classy.